In a rare moment of unity, the state has unanimously passed the No Tax on Tips Act, prompting a major overhaul to how the income of millions of service workers is handled. But how is this legislation actually going to impact workers and businesses?
Yeah, we want to bring in our chief business correspondent, Taylor Young. Taylor, we know the idea of eliminating tax on tips has been discussed for years now, but this is the closest it's ever come to actually becoming law, right?
Yeah, so this is a discussion that's been happening really since the 80s at least, so 50 years. And as we know, this topic really picked up steam during the 2024 presidential election. President Trump talked about this a lot on the campaign trail. And at the time, his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, also backed the idea, which is also kind of a rare moment of unity there as well, which is why I think we're seeing just really big support from both sides of the aisle in the Senate in terms of passing this bill. And just to recap exactly what's happening here. So right now, if you are a server, bartender, delivery driver, or anyone who earns tips, those tips right now are considered taxable income. You have to report them to the IRS and pay taxes on them. What this bill does is remove that. So eligible employees who make under $160,000 a year will or would be able to claim 100% of their tips up to $25,000 per year. And I know when we talk about this bill, a lot of times we use the term cash tips. I think it's important to point out that this also includes tips paid via credit and debit card as well as with checks. So if you're someone who makes the majority of their income on tips, this is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, 4 out of 4 daughters that we have work on tips. So yeah, this could be a big deal. And I know they're not clearing $25,000 a year. What kind of impacts? Like this could be big. What impacts are we expected to see here?
Yeah, I think one, this could make working in the service industry more attractive. As we know over the last couple of years, I mean, just looking specifically at restaurants, I mean, they've struggled to hire and retain staff. If they're making more, maybe more people will work for them. But secondly, I think the biggest impact is just more take-home pay for workers. I mean, for the majority of tipped workers, their biggest chunk of their salary is made through tips. Now, I will say the impact might not be as large as some may think. It's estimated 40% of tipped workers already do not pay federal income tax because they don't make enough. So even though that 40% doesn't, 60% will, and that's a big chunk of workers that are going to see more pay from this.
Taylor, we know, as you talked about there was bipartisan support for this, but nothing is ever without objection. So are there any concerns related to this bill?
Yeah, there are concerns specifically that this could prompt some employers to get a little greedy. And I think to explain this, we need kind of a theoretical example. If you are a restaurant owner during the pandemic, you struggled to hire staff, which we know happened all across Charlotte, you may have upped that base pay to attract more workers to come in. So minimum wage for service workers in North Carolina is $2.13. So say you bumped that to $5. Well, now that restaurant owner could say, look, you're going to make more off tips now. I might be paying you less. That, of course, would impact the bottom line. We know in the restaurant industry, there are slow times, there are slow seasons. Sometimes that base pay is the cushion there. And also that base pay does face federal income tax. And if that is reduced, that would make this bill more expensive. So there are absolutely concerns. Overall, I think the fact that this got the majority of support, there is a lot of good things happening with this bill. Just some things to look out for when this is signed by President Trump.
All right, it's going to affect a lot of people. Taylor, thank you. Appreciate that.